past 8 is what the time is. And I'd like to tell you quickly, if you haven't heard, the EFCC arrested recently a cybercrime syndicate. The interesting thing about this arrest is it's tagged one of the largest raids that the EFCC had embarked on. This was in Lagos. Usually we would have several, Nigerians, involved in this or arrested most of the times. But this was quite different, and it was very interesting when you look at the numbers and those involved. So according to the data that came after the arrest by the EFCC, 148 Chinese, 40 Filipinos, we have 2 Kazakhstans, 1 Pakistani, 1 Indonesian, among many others were arrested. Total numbering to about 600 people were arrested in a 7-story building that was believed to be a haven for fraudsters. This is somewhere in Victoria Island, Lagos. Now, this arrest happened last week. These guys were said to be involved in cybercrime, crypto fraud, and different forms of cybercrime. Now, if you look at this, you would then ask questions around, okay, what is happening? Now, some questions I would want to put out with regards to the fight against cybercrime. These days, the streets, we call it Yahoo Yahoo or Yahoo boys and girls. The thing now is this. Some people have said that internet fraud or cybercrime is a definition of the term a lesser evil to fight crime. There are those that have said that the fact that we now have many more unemployed young people venturing into that form of crime, it has helped to reduce other forms of crime. Now, there are people who have that. And because of that reason, there are some people that become, sentimental towards it and, want to encourage it in one form or the other. There are those that also would blame the economic situation of the country, and because there's nothing people need to survive, they do that. Now, I would also like to note this. As much as cybercrime is a crime, it is the same thing a crime like you have fire, illegal oil refining, and several other forms of illegal acts that many individuals engage in, including politicians. Now, when I say including politicians, if you remember a local government chairman from Anambra, even though Anambra state government disowned the chairman, was arrested in the US over a $3.3 million romance scam. All right, that's internet fraud, still a different form of it. And then if you even go further back in time, there are reports of several politicians that have been fingered to be involved in, this cryptocurrency scam or other forms of money laundering and other forms of online and internet, scams. In Dubai, all right, there are people who say this is a big thing, where you have, just like the situation in Lagos where a building was raided, you would see something very similar. You have a full building that's like an office, and you have people who work there, but the job is basically, defrauding people. It's well set up, very organized. You have that in Dubai. In the United States, we've seen these guys do this sort of thing. And people, do crypto fraud. There are several cases that are being investigated by the FBI. You'd even see people hack, petrol, their gas pipes, and, ask to be paid certain amount of monies then before they, allow the government access. It's just a lot of things to allow the companies that run these pipes access. It's something that has become so organized, and if you look at it, whether you like it or not, when you put the situation in Nigeria or Africa side by side with what is obtainable in other parts of the world, you'd realize that we're still technically far behind. And then you might commend the EFCC for what they are doing. trying to see how they can tackle this. And you'd also begin to ask questions around the budget that is made to tackle cybercrime of any form. How much is put in there, and how much of these monies really go into tackling the problem? Beyond that is even the question of, now, what are we doing that is contributing to the increase in cybercrime? There are parts of this country where almost every teenager you meet is into cybercrime. It's like the way out. For many people, it's the way out. Some people will tell you, how long am I going to work before I can make money to buy a car? With what the economy is like now, and how a car that was sold for 2 million before 1.5 million, and you think, okay, as a young guy, I could hustle and gather 1.5 and get myself a decent car. Now that car is like about 7 million. And then the guy is asking you, like, how long am I going to do this to get this? How long am I going to work in this system to make money to do this and do that? And then there are a lot of things that people put out. And for some people, they think the situation of the country is encouraging many people to go into it. Well, my question for you is, the first one being, has cybercrime become a lesser evil? Is that why people encourage it? What else are we doing that is causing so much more people to go into it? There are families, there are fathers that know that their teenage son or daughter is into cybercrime, and they are okay as long as money is coming. That's what they'll tell you. There are police officers. There are EFCC operatives. It is gradually becoming the thing in our society. The question is, while we tackle the symptoms, what really is the cause of the problem? If we are going to resolve this, we need to figure out how we got to this point. Now you have foreigners in the country, in their numbers, engaging in same act. So it then even brings us to these people. How did they enter the country? Did they come in legally even? If they did not, it brings us to the next question of, what are we doing about protecting our shores? Well, I'll open the phone lines and get your contributions. I'm pretty sure you follow and you have a lot more to say than I do. So we'll get that opportunity now and get your thoughts. Do we ever how difficult would it be for government now to tackle the problem of cybercrime? I've said to someone, same thing with illegal oil refining. When somebody says it's because there's no job, and I'm like, it's difficult. Even if you get a job now and get someone who used to engage in illegal oil refining and tell him to come do a job, how much are you paying him? The person has been committing that crime for a while and has been making millions of naira in a week, has gotten a certain lifestyle that he lives now. All right. And then you come and then you tell him that, oh, you need to stop this. It's not good. It's killing the country, the economy. He understands you and says, the reason why I'm doing this is because there's no job. And then you give him a job where you're paying him 50,000, 100,000. And then how do you think that individual will cope? Like, these are real questions that people ask. Very real questions. How do you think that individual would be able to manage? That's added to when they see politicians involved in the things that they involve in, and then they don't get punished. When they see people get into office and eventually, before you came into office, you didn't have one car. You don't get company. You were not working anywhere. You had almost nothing. But then you become a council chairman or a governor or a lawmaker, and boom, you have all the millions. And there are many questions that are asked around the things that you've acquired because they don't look genuine or real, but the questions never get answered. No one really takes time to really do what they ought to do. All these things, many believe, are contributing to even empower young people more to say, if these people are like this, then it means in this country. In fact, somebody told me directly that the way the politicians, the government, the policies and everything is structured, it's almost as though if you do not involve in something illegal, you cannot succeed in this country or even in the world to some degree. But in this country, is that correct? Is that true? Well, after the commercial, we'll go to the phone lines and we'll hear your thoughts about this. Stay with us.